The drama begins in a gallery of paintings, a portrait of a beautiful girl. It is hyper-realistic, looks like a photograph, but it is made with a simple pencil. The painting won a competition, but there is no other information besides Hyun's name. Mai So from Seoul was a friend of the artist, and everyone in the gallery hoped she could help find her. Mai So is most likely unable to help. She did not know her very well, and there are currently no contacts to contact Hyun, the author of the painting. Mai So recalls the summer of 1998 when she came to school and became a new student in the class. After school, a girl came up to her. It was Hyun, and they decided to go for a walk and talk. Suddenly it started to rain. They ran to one of the girls' houses, brought a little red-haired soaked kitty in a box, and she introduced Mai So to her mother as a friend. They sat down to dinner, carrots for Mai So, broccoli for Hyun. In the evening, Mai So's mother arrived, and it turned out that their family was not on good terms. One day Mai So saw her friend painting beautifully, and she thought she might become an artist, but Hyun said that her father said that artists starve, so it was unlikely. Since then, the friends realized that they would always be together. They started learning to draw, growing up and occasionally skipping classes. The girls grew up, became best friends, rode scooters, sang songs, and had fun together. Mai So worked at a hostel, lived there, and her mother didn't call her often. She went to Hyun's parents for lunch. It turned out that Mai So had bought a bankrupt hotel by the sea and invited her friend to celebrate her birthday there. They sat on the table, ate cake, and dreamed of traveling together. Hyun said her father wants her to become a teacher, but Mai So wants to travel with her best friend. The girl shared that she likes a guy from basketball. He has beautiful eyes, and she wants to draw him. The next day, Mai So decided to drive up to the handsome guy her friend liked and warn him not to break her heart. Their basketball club organized a party, and Hyun went there to see this guy. After a while, she arranged to meet him for lunch and suggested that she draw him to better understand herself and her feelings. He agreed and began to pose for her. It became clear that she liked him, and she decided to confess to him. The summer of 2004. The guy's name was Jin Woo, and a month later Hyun decided to introduce her two loved ones. Mai So was already working as a bartender in a club. Take a cocktail sex on the beach for $10, and let's talk, why do you love Hyun? The friends get drunk, attended a concert, and had a great time together. In the morning, they went to the beach, laughed, did a photo shoot, and swam in the sea. The two best friends and the boyfriend went to the mountains to make a wish in a secret place. Mai So became close to Jin Woo, and it seemed that she also had feelings for him, but in fact she was interested in the talisman hanging around his neck. Jin once said that this talisman helped him survive, so Mai So needed it. Of course, he gave it to her. The summer is over, and Mai So wants to go to Seoul with her new musician boyfriend, who has been wanting to do this for a long time. He has a friend there who will introduce her to an art teacher. Mai So cried and didn't want to let her best friend go, and as she said goodbye, she asked if she would come back to her. Of course, Mai So would come back, but the separation was painful. The memories brought her back to the time when they read a book together about the sun, which cannot be alone because the shadow is always with it. A letter from Mai So. My best friend apologizes for not calling. She lost her phone. She rented a spacious house on a mountain. It's hard to climb, but the view is breathtaking, and she's going to start painting. At night, she works at a club at the bar where her boyfriend performs, and during the day she studies. It's tiring, but it's just the beginning. Correspondence between friends. It's so good to have an address to send a letter to. Hyun writes, I passed the college entrance exams, but I don't know what specialty to choose. Her father and Jin Woo want her to become a teacher. If she becomes one, everything will be fine, but it's kind of sad. It seemed that one day like an exam determines our entire future. Mai So said that on this day our whole life is at stake, and it's the same in her art class. Everyone draws the same thing. For the first time in her life, her painting was praised. It was unique and unusual, and the teacher wanted her to become his protege. Mai So wished her best friend to live the way you want and trust your talent. Hyun writes that she thought things would be different in college, but she hasn't changed. Classes are sad, and she continues to draw, and when she draws, she is at peace. Mai So asks how Christmas is going. She writes that she went to Seoul, saw how freely people live, and learned a lot from them. Mai So is going to travel a lot and take up painting seriously. Her biggest dream is to get to Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world, then go to France and cross all of Europe. Hyun imagines her best friend traveling, and it gives her confidence. Time passed, 5 years passed, and the friends did not know then that their separation would last so long. Sometimes Hyun thought about how the trip looks like through the eyes of her best friend, and what she is painting now. She felt as if she was constantly pushing people away from her, and when she grew up, would it really get better? Jinwoo decided to go to Seoul to study medicine, and he also left Hae-yun. She cried again and did not want to let go of the person who was dear to her. But it so happened that after saying goodbye to Jin, one day she returns home, her mother is there, her cat is there, and she feels lonely, but Maiso is waiting for her at home. It seems that happiness has begun to return a little bit. After returning from a long trip, her friend brought gifts and postcards with photos of outstanding places from her travels. One of them depicted Lake Baikal. The friends dream of traveling again, and finally they decide to go to Busan together. After walking the streets of the sunny city, posing for a local artist, it was getting dark, and they had to find a place to spend the night. They rented a room in a nice hotel, so offered a hostel for $40, but Hae-yun had the money and paid for it herself. They need to order something to eat. She suggests a pig's leg, and they go down to a restaurant for dinner. The prices are very high. Maiso suggests going elsewhere. They can eat their bellies full for that money, but Hae-yun says that her mom gave her enough money with her, they can splurge a little, and when will they have another chance to eat at such a nice place together? Then Maiso quickly gets a grip on the situation and decides to celebrate the trip and save money, goes to the bar and asks for a shaker, approaches a group of men who were celebrating something and offers, "Let me make you cocktails in exchange for a bottle of wine." They agree, the festive mood does its job. Maiso's experience as a bartender works for her, the guests of the upscale establishment are happy, and they hand her a bottle of wine for $120. Maiso is happy and goes to get her friend's table. Hae-yun doesn't understand what that was all about. How can you ask someone for something like that? She doesn't know those men. Her best friend explained that she didn't ask for anything, that she earned that bottle, and Hae-yun said that they didn't come here to work, they came here to relax. Maiso tried to explain that she lived like that, and there were times when she didn't have money to live on, she had to come up with something. Hae-yun asked what we should order. She suggested a pizza, based on economic calculations, but Hae-yun ordered 2 sirloin steaks. Who would pay for the steaks now? Hae-yun emphasized that she had the money, and her friend was very precise in her calculations. The two friends started to tell each other that they were being driven by calculation, not friendship. Jinwoo called, and Maiso wanted to leave, to let them talk in private, but her friend said she didn't need to leave, as if he didn't care about Maiso. Maiso admitted that she was happy when she left for Seoul with her boyfriend because she had Jinwoo left. Hae-yun was offended and got up and left the restaurant, leaving her best friend there with her hard-earned bottle of wine. She thought they would meet at the hotel room, but Maiso couldn't afford it, so she just went in to pack and left. The trip to Busan was unsuccessful. The best friends quarreled and broke up again. Fall 2012. Maiso is a land resale consultant. He meets Jinwoo in Seoul, preparing to get his medical license. They reminisce about Hae-yun together, but how well do they know her? The phone rings, her boss, her boyfriend. They are planning to move to Canada after opening a new business. And when are they planning to get married? She goes back to the office. Jin follows her, sees a terrible picture. Her boyfriend hanged himself and her dreams seem so real. After a while, Hae-yun decides to visit Jinwoo in Seoul and sees him leading a drunken Maiso under his arm. It turns out that her lover spent all her money and then committed suicide, so she is now living with Jin. Her best friend tries to explain, asks Hae-yun to speak up, to tell her everything. She victimizes her badly, as if she doesn't care what people around her think. The best friend makes Maiso wonder if anyone else has ever loved her. God, how did they get to this point? Jinwoo moved from Seoul, came to the meeting, proposed marriage, and he and Hae-yun started living together. They plan to have a nice family and a child, maybe move back to Seoul, where the salaries are higher. However, Hae-yun was thinking of quitting teaching and taking up painting, and Jinwoo said, "Let it remain your hobby, because it's a skill, not a talent." Harsh words. The wedding? Jinwoo and Hae-yun got married, the celebration continued, the parents were getting ready to leave, and then the morning came, the bride was missing. Everyone was looking for her, but they never found her. Hae-yun left Jin right at the wedding and ran away. He never saw her again. He got his license and worked as a doctor. It was a working day. Hae-yun decided that maybe it was selfish, but she left the old town and returned to her parents' house. Do you know why all the faces are different? So that everyone can live differently. There is probably no specific way of life. You have to live the way you want to live. That's what her mother told her. It turned out that Hae-yun was pregnant with Jin. She left her parents and went to Maiso. They gave birth to a girl together. Hae-yun left everything and everyone and started drawing Jin's face, her father's face, but most of all she missed drawing Maiso's face. Maiso met Jin many years later. He was looking for Hae-yun. She left everything and told no one. Her friend replied that she didn't know where she could be. Then her phone rang. It was Hae-yun. She was meeting a girl. It turned out that Jin and her best friend had a daughter. Jin probably never loved the real Hae-yun. Since her friend left, she hasn't heard from her either. As a memento, she left her a pair of earrings for the time they spent together. Her mother's house, her mother's story. Everyone thinks that Hae-yun died. The girl grew up with Mai, so that's why she can't get through to her anymore. She realized that they have now exchanged lives. Hae-yun will be the same as she always was as a child, and her friend Mai, so will have a wonderful family with Jin and a little daughter. And Hae-yun rented the same spacious house on the mountain that Mai so used to invite her to visit for a sumptuous 28-course meal prepared by the owner of the house and her housekeeper, who used to work in a restaurant. Hae-yun continued to work on her paintings. This work reminds her of the best times of her and her friend's life. She is now fulfilling her dreams, living the life she always wanted to live. Living her dreams and life was very interesting for Mai, so she started to travel, found Lake Baikal, and probably flew around the world and saw Europe. Mai so received another call from the art gallery, invited to a meeting. Mai so was living the life of her best friend with her daughter Jin and making art. Kindred spirits exchanged bodies. The art gallery said they had contacted the author of the painting, although she refused to meet with the gallery management but sent her new work. The artist friend and her daughter stared at the painting, which depicted the face of young Mai so in awe. This means that she is alive, that there is still hope to see her in their lives at least once more.